Hello, I'm Veronica Dudo. A 23-year-old man from Belleville has died after apparently drowning at a Spring Lake beach. Police responded to a report that a swimmer was in distress at the St. Clair Avenue beachfront. The victim was transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. In a partnership with Easy Ride, Monmouth County has announced a free wellness transportation program. Adult residents will be allowed 2 round trips per week to their medical appointments regardless of income. Police are investigating after a New Jersey state trooper died at the agency's training facility in Ewing. Marcellus E. Betha, who was assigned to the Morristown station in Burlington County, was a trooper for more than 8 years. Officers from the Washington Township Police Department are being recognized for their efforts in wrangling a pig that got loose from a local farm. The 200-pound hog was captured and returned to its owner.
A very good morning and happy Thursday. I'm meteorologist Mike Favetta here with your latest weather report on the New Jersey Morning Show. Had a few clouds to start our day, but temperatures are holding in the 60s. And with that, there is a little bit of a cooler breeze compared to the last few days where we had temperatures across some parts of New Jersey exceeding 90 degrees. It was very warm. We'll say goodbye to that summer-like warmth because it's back to a spring-like feel as some of these clouds take over through the rest of this morning. I think we'll ultimately see gradual increase in cloud cover and some rain chances come up over the next few days. These are our next few days of weather, showing as the rain right now in the southwest and basically in the middle part of the country, allowing for that rain to arrive. Until then, we'll be dealing with a few passing clouds as temperatures in northern New Jersey this morning start off at 56 degrees there in western Morris County, up towards Sussex County 59 and down toward Hudson County 62 degrees. A little further down south toward central New Jersey this morning. Good morning to you in Middlesex County, 62 for you, 62 at the beach and 61 back in the Pine Barrens. South Jersey, a little bit of a flooding issue with coastal flooding thanks to that easterly breeze preventing the easy go of things, especially with that sunshine around this morning. Likely have that coastal flooding happen over the next few days as long as that easterly wind pushes in. So that's keeping the clouds around for this morning and will likely keep the clouds around for the next few days. As that rain starts to move in from the west, you see those showers there working in over Virginia. They'll move into New Jersey later on today. So plan on some wet weather over the next few days and a cooler breeze. Say goodbye to those 70s, 80s, and 90s. That's that shade of yellow. It's going by. We will likely have that shade of green come in, allowing for a much cooler feel as temperatures stay in the 60s going into the upcoming weekend, maybe only in the 50s as soon as Sunday. We'll have the complete look of your forecast coming up with a later update and the 7-day weather. Let you know how next week's weather looks coming up with your next weather update. For now, I'm meteorologist Mike Favetta for the New Jersey Morning Show.
Good morning and welcome to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Cara Falco.
And I'm Mike Favetta. Thanks for watching. Great to see you this morning, Cara.
And you too, Mike. So a new report released by Assemblyman Paul Knitra's office covers the impacts of illegal immigration and how it's directly affecting things here in New Jersey. And joining us now is Assemblyman Knitra. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for joining us.
Assemblyman, can you tell us more about the major findings of your report?
Yeah, it's pretty shocking, to be honest, the size of the scope of the issue financially and just in terms of numbers. There's about 890,000 illegal immigrants in New Jersey from what we've been able to find. And based on our population of a little over 9 million, that means that basically 1 out of every 10 residents in New Jersey is an illegal immigrant. And when we looked at the numbers, because look, it's a humanitarian crisis, but it's also a financial crisis. When we looked at the numbers, we found that, each individual here is receiving about $8,000 a year annually in benefits. And that pencils out to about each household in New Jersey spending over $2,000 annually for these various benefits. So we've got to find some solutions.
What made your office decide to conduct the report in the first place?
Well, we're looking at our budget right now. We've got a $56 billion budget in New Jersey, and we've been trying to tackle a lot of waste in that budget. And obviously, the border has been open for quite some time to our south in Texas. I decided to go down there. I was actually on New Jersey politics a couple of weeks ago when I got back from the border trip. And that spurred a lot of this. But what we've seen over the last year was an additional 2 million individuals coming into the U.S., and we wanted to see how New Jersey's sanctuary state policies were driving that and affecting that. And what we ultimately found, even though New Jersey is the 47th smallest state in the country, 1 out of every 20 illegals are coming here and seeking out New Jersey because of the benefits that we're offering.
So with that in mind, as these immigrants come up, what are the solutions that you recommend as a result of the report?
Well, first we have to streamline our legal immigration process, right? I mean, people are waiting 5-10 years to get here legally that are trying to do the right thing, and that de-incentivizes people, right? We also have to look at the humanitarian aspects of this too, because individuals are starting abroad. They're starting in South America. They're crossing the Darien Gap in Panama, which is incredibly unsafe. Then they're crossing the deserts in Mexico, and the Rio Grande, the United Nations has deemed the single most dangerous border in the entire world, and people are drowning there every single day as a result of this. So we have to figure out, how do we de-incentivize that? And I think that means that we maybe need to cut down on some of the benefits that we're causing. Maybe we need to enforce our immigration policies a little bit better. And quite frankly, a lot of people are manipulated by the cartels in this whole process. The cartels go to certain towns and recruit people because of the money that they get. Everybody that crosses the border has a wristband on them. So the cartels are a big part of this. And not only do we need to give money to try and help combat the cartels and make things safer in other countries so that people don't have to come here and don't feel like they're fleeing anything. But once they do get here, we have to make sure that if they were sold a bill of goods by somebody and it's not what they think, that they have an option to return home as well, which creates financial incentive. And we're introducing a piece of legislation to do just that.
Really fascinating stuff, Assemblyman. So what has been the overall reaction from your colleagues to the findings of this report?
Even my colleagues that have been in the legislature for a very long period of time didn't realize how big the size and scope of this is. And this wasn't just a fly-by-night operation that we put together. It was 2 months collecting data from federal census sources, New Jersey sources, nonprofit sources, and we feel very, very strongly about the findings in the report. And I think it's opening everybody's eyes. We're getting a lot of co-sponsor requests on the legislation that we have out already to tackle the problem. And we've had a lot of interest about some of the bills that we're going to be releasing as a result of this report to fix the solution.
Assemblyman, where can our viewers learn more about the report and potentially get involved?
So a copy of the report, it's 27 pages, so you have to be really politically wonky to want to read it and digest it. It's available on my Facebook page, Assemblyman Paul Kinitra. It's also available on the Assembly GOP's page as well. And there's an accompanying video that kind of explains the whole process, methodology, the trip to the border, and the crisis in general as well. And we certainly hope that everybody educates themselves as much as possible.
Assemblyman Paul Kinitra, thank you so much for joining us on the NJ Morning Show. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, guys. Have a great day.
You as well. Really fascinating stuff. And I love that he, kind of addressed both ends of it, that, it is a humanitarian crisis. These are people, they're human beings, so we can't just round them all up and ship them back. We have to come up with a reasonable way to handle this, but it is a financial strain on the people who live here.
Of course, and I really am glad that there are some solutions being proposed, because I feel like we haven't seen much of that since the start of this. We just see on the media all of the busloads of immigrants coming up from the southern states. So good to see some solutions being proposed at the very least. Yeah,
at a minimum. So hopefully they come up with some way to help, a couple of good steps. All right, guys, coming up, it is opening day for the New Jersey Jackals.
And later, we continue to celebrate Mental Health Awareness Month. Don't go anywhere.
New Jersey, we've got more summer wows under the sun than anyone. So come see what your wow's gonna be in the little state of New Jersey. where it's one wow after another, after another, after another. You get it. Find your wow at visitnj.org. New Jersey, little state, lotta.
Hello and welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Cara Falco.
And I'm Mike Favetta. We're so glad you could join us today. Cara, the New Jersey Jackals celebrates opening day today, a beautiful day at that, with a home game in Hinchcliffe Stadium in Paterson. The Jackals are teaming up with ONNJ Sharing Network today for a Donate Life celebration to raise awareness about the importance of organ and tissue donation and transplantation.
Yeah, the Jackals general manager John Hunt is celebrating the 5-year anniversary of his life-saving heart transplant. The national anthem will be sung by E. Denise Peoples, NJSN's senior manager of community, a double lung transplant recipient and Paterson native.
The event will feature prizes, giveaways, and a 50-50 raffle with proceeds supporting the Sharing Network Foundation. Fans in attendance on opening day who show proof of being a registered organ donor will receive a free ticket to a future Jackals game. And tickets can be purchased at jackals.com. That's a great incentive and a great way to celebrate, what they've been doing, especially for their top dog there with the heart transplant. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, really, really beautiful thing. And certainly, opening day in stadiums across the state, definitely a sure sign of spring, of the warmer weather. So it's a lot of fun, and it's a really beautiful way to celebrate organ donation and those successful transplant patients.
It is exciting. If you ever talk to an organ donor, they always say, I'm not going to need him after I'm gone, so why not donate a gift of life?
Not using them anymore. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
If you can. All right. Well, also, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So here to shed some light on with some helpful tips is CEO of Preferred Behavioral Health Group and co-host of the Well Off podcast, Dr. Tara Chalikani. Dr. Tara, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. Great to see you, one of our favorite guests. Now, Doctor, Mental Health Awareness Month was created back in 1949. A lot has changed since then. So what is the focus of mental health awareness today in 2024?
The focus, Mike, is really just to get people aware and okay with the fact that sometimes we're not okay. And there is no shame in having a mental health disorder. There is no shame in acquiring care. And our mission in the month of May is really to raise awareness to symptoms, how to feel better, but most importantly, to destigmatize the acquisition of mental health care.
Absolutely. Dr. Tara, what are some things that we can do, maybe on our own and just on a daily basis, to help improve our mental health?
There's just some real basics. Sleep is key. We really need to make sure we're getting a good night's sleep. So, having a routine, getting rid of our screens early on in the day so our brains can unwind because they're not supposed to be processing information and having a bright light in our face all day long. Exercise is also imperative. We need to move our bodies. We need to try to get fresh air. The weather is getting nicer, which is helpful, but movement is important. And then, the other things that are in our control are drinking plenty of water and eating a good balanced diet. So, those are some really, really basic things that are right at our fingertips that would go a very long way.
Those are some really great tips for adults, but we also know that children have issues, and childhood depression and anxiety is at an all-time high. Is there anything we can do as a community or through the schools to support the mental well-being of our children and adolescents?
Absolutely. And the biggest key idea I want to leave you with is that when our children wake up in the morning and they say, I don't feel good, or my stomach hurts, we listen, we ask questions. Where does it hurt? And, do you have a fever? We give a lot of credence to physical symptoms. We have to do the same when our children aren't feeling well mentally. And I feel that there's still a very strong opinion out there like, oh, they'll get over it or shake it off. But suicide is at all-time highs, and the younger children are now more susceptible. We've seen more suicides this year in middle school children than ever before, and suicidal ideation and depressive symptoms in children as young as 5 years old is not uncommon. So, really taking things seriously. And if our children don't seem like themselves, or if they're not sleeping, or if they're not irritable, it's not that, they're being disrespectful. Sometimes they just really don't feel good. And I think we need to factor that in to our questions when we're asking them, do you feel sad? Or, what are you thinking about? Just being more comfortable with those kinds of questions.
Dr. Tara, it's so funny because I think back to, won't mention how many years, but I had never heard of a mental health day until I was in high school. And I remember I had one girlfriend and her mom used to allow her mental health days where she would, and she never had to explain herself. She would just be like, Mom, I don't have it in me to go to school today. And her mother would let her stay home. And I was like, your mom's so cool who lets you do that. You know what I mean? But she just, she, like you said, she believed her kid. She was like, that's fine. You can't do it today. You don't have the capacity for it. Stay home. Keep your PJs on. Stay in bed. We'll try again tomorrow. And, it was unheard of back then.
Yes, and I love that you brought that up, and it's a wonderful idea, and I see that a lot in my clinical practice where really progressive parents allow their kids to take a break. Our children today are very busy. They're engaged in a lot of activities. Every moment is accounted for, and we all need a break. So that's really key. But a little validation goes a long way. And think about how good it feels for us as adults when we feel seen and heard and our feelings are validated. And to teach that to children early on is so important for fostering good mental health and mental health awareness.
Yeah. And speaking of mental health awareness, a lot of this month and the conversations that we're having, it's about getting rid of that stigma because it does still exist. Certainly, I think more so perhaps in older generations than younger ones. But how do we get rid of that in our daily lives? Is it just having these open conversations publicly, where people can say, oh, okay, like this is, maybe it's not normal, but as you said, it's common, unfortunately.
Well, what I was going to say, Cara, is we're doing it right now. The more we normalize it, the more we put it on people's radar, the less bizarre it seems, the less, stigmatized it is. And we don't hesitate to ask people who their primary care physician is, or do you know a good dentist, or who's your realtor? We're very open in our society about, people put questions up on Facebook. Does anybody know a good mechanic in my neighborhood? But no one feels as comfortable doing that with mental health. But if we put it out there, the more we do it, the less of a big deal it will be, just like anything else.
And so, on that note, if someone sees a friend or a loved one who needs help, who thinks they need help with their mental health, who do they contact? What's the first step and where do they go?
They can always call us. We're here to serve the entire state of New Jersey, preferredbehavioral.org. You can follow us on our social media, our website. Because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, our social media posts are chock full of tips and resources. But, if it is your child, you can always go to your pediatrician. And if someone is really struggling, 988 is the National Suicide Hotline number. And that can always be a first source of emergency response, getting someone connected. But there are resources out there. And we, like I always tell you, Google's our best friend. Google mental health provider near me, and you can always start there.
So the Dr. Tara Chalikani is your Instagram. Love to see those posts. Thank you so much for joining us on the New Jersey Morning Show and taking the time.
Thank you both. Enjoy the spring.
Thanks, Doctor.
You too.
We love her. And I love what she said, when we talked about those kind of daily steps, because I think sometimes we forget, and because it's not encouraged that, your brain and your body are connected. They are not separate systems of one another. And I've even started making a habit of that, if I wake up cranky or I feel like I'm having a bad day, those first few questions are like, did I get enough sleep? Have I had enough water today? Am I hungry? Am I hangry? Is that the problem?
Have you been outside in 3 days? Sometimes, we get so caught up with work and things around the house and chores and realize I just need a 15-minute walk outside.
Yeah, and it can really be that simple. And I think sometimes because we're always looking for that silver bullet or and it's like it's that basic sometimes. And I try to make that like the checklist, be like, okay, let me go through these very simple things first. And if none of that helps, then, we can call a friend or a professional or something like that. But, let me just check off those simple boxes first.
So true.
All right, guys, coming up next, we have a really special networking event that is making strides for women empowerment.
And later, do you want to know what New Jersey's favorite Pokemon is? We have the answer coming up next.
Summers in New Jersey were made to wow you. From sun and wows to fun and wows and every wow in between. So come see what your wow's gonna be. New Jersey. It's one wow after another, after another, after another. You get it. Find your wow at visitnj.org. New Jersey. Little state, lot of wow.
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Mike Favetta along with Cara Falco. A new study has revealed the most popular Pokemon in each U.S. state. The popular role-playing card game, video games, and TV shows got its start around 1996.
Oh, and I remember it fondly. Online gaming magazine 1337 Games analyzed nationwide Google searches for every Pokemon in the Pokedex and found that New Jersey's favorite is Eevee. The data highlighted that on average there were 1,040 searches for Eevee every month in New Jersey.
Out of the top 20 Pokemon in New Jersey, 14 of them were from the first generation of Pokemon. Ditto was searched the second most Pokemon. So a little fact there for you. It was kind of past my time. Never got into it.
Well, I was going to say, you're too young for that.
Too young? Yeah, too young.
Yeah, no, but you know what it was? Because you have a sibling but you're the baby, aren't you?
No, I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest? I was going to say, I had a younger brother, and he was huge into it, so I was into it, and we had all the playing cards. And then I remember as an adult, the app came out on the phones, and you could, like, walk around and find them. That was so much fun and very nostalgic, and got everybody out and moving.
It did. It got everybody out moving. Now they even have a Pokemon festival. That's every year. Yeah, a Pokemon festival. So it's still going strong.
It has some staying power.
It definitely does. And that's something that I think will maybe bring the next generation, because, you're beyond that 25-year mark. So perhaps the next generation could get into it.
There you go. Let's see. We'll have to see what happens and which one stays the favorite.
Yep.
So there is a Women for Women Today. It's a not-so-typical networking event created to make space where every woman can be empowered, connected, inspired, and learn from other women. And joining us now is the event's creator, T.H. Irwin. Good morning, T.H. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Great to have you here. So can you tell us more about the event and why you created it?
Sure. I actually created this event many years ago and then took a break from it. And about 7 months ago, I realized, God, it's been so long since we got back together again, and women getting together again and sitting in a room or having coffee with one another as opposed to being on Zoom or, speaking to people through our computers. So I built it. I gave myself the courage. I know how to do this. And I created it in January, and it was successful. People came alone. People came with friends, sisters, daughters. And everybody felt elevated. So I did it again. And it's coming up this Monday. And the reason is because I know we need each other. And I know we're so much better when we're together. And I have found an amazing panel of women to lead us and inspire us. So you're going to walk out feeling 110% as opposed to when you walked in.
I love that. And I know for myself how right you are in terms of, particularly for women, meeting in person and bouncing ideas off of one another. But what makes this event different from other networking events?
So thank you for asking that. First of all, I want to do a shout out for Cara because she was on one of these panels when I originally did Women for Women Today. So I was super excited to see you as the anchor today. So what makes this different? This is about engagement. This is about connection and learning. So I'm literally going to hold your hand the minute you walk in the door. You can either sit with a mentor, and our mentors include the likes of Carmindy from Carmindy Beauty, Jamie Hess from the Gratitudology podcast, Sheldon Bartlett, Rumor, Mina Panetta, Angela Thomas, and myself. And you can look up all of our names on the website. But you get to sit with us for an hour at a small table where you can ask questions live. You're already connecting with the people who you're sitting at the table with. And then you get to connect with this mentor and ask any questions that you have. And if you don't choose that path, then you can join the Ladies Mixer, where I send you on a gamified experience. You're going to look for a woman who loves tequila. You're going to look for a woman who loves to travel, a woman who hates to sit at home. And in addition to that, you're going to meet all of our awesome sponsors and businesses there. And then we all come together so everybody has an opportunity to hear from the mentors at this event.
That Meet Your Mentor sounds really interesting. How would people sign up for that, or gather more information to experience something as incredible as it sounds?
Thank you so much. All you have to do is go to women for FOR womentoday.com and purchase your ticket. And once you go and buy your ticket, I want to leave you with a thought of the one word that best describes you. Because when you come to the event, you're not writing your name on your name tag. You're writing your word. And that is how we connect at this event. And that's, again, how this event is different than others. Because how many times do we forget the name of someone we were just introduced to, right? But you remember the story they told, and you remember the experience they had or the trip they mentioned. So that is how we're connecting at this event. And that's what makes this event different.
I love it. And TH, I have to say, I remember being on the Women to Women panel several years ago, and I have to tell you, I am still in touch with some of the women that I met that day. So just as a, just to say how much it really does work. Now, you have also partnered with the Women's Rights Information Center. Why was that important to you?
So every event that I produce, I feel needs to partner with a nonprofit that is going above and beyond. And every non-for-profit has a purpose and an intention. But for Women Today, I chose the Women's Rights Information Center because they offer free programming, both for men and women, but it started out primarily to empower women with knowledge and resources. You don't know what you don't know. So where do you go? Where do you take your first step? And the Women's Rights Information Center, all you have to do is show up and walk in the door, and they will also hold your hand and guide you with financial resources, emotional support, social support, family services. It's extensive. So they will be there showcasing what they have to offer so that you can tell a friend who who might need these types of resources, or for yourself.
Incredible stuff. T.H. Irwin, founder of the Women to Women event. Thank you so much. One more time, where do we get tickets?
You get tickets at womenforwomentoday.com. And everything is right there for you. And if you email womenforwomentoday@gmail.com, I'll answer your questions. And all you have to do is show up. I guarantee it will be a memorable event. Cara, I hope to see you there.
I will see if I can make it. Thank you so much, TH. I'm so glad you were able to join us this morning.
Thank you, guys.
Really great stuff. And it, like I said, it's so funny because once she said that, I went, oh my gosh, that's right, because it was almost 10 years ago now. And again, they hadn't done it since the pandemic. So I'm glad to see that she's back and doing these in-person events. And I still have connections from that initial event.
That's great. And the fact that it's here in New Jersey, Monday evening's event is in Paramus, you get all of that local experience and keep everybody in New Jersey.
That's it. Absolutely. All right, guys. So do you know what New Jersey's favorite de-stressor is? Find out after this.
And later, the medical world. And later, the medical world is setting new guidelines to prevent breast cancer. Find out next.
New Jersey, we've got more summer wows under the sun than anyone. So come see what your wow's gonna be in the little state of New Jersey, where it's one wow after another, after another, after another. You get it. Find your wow at visitnj.org. New Jersey, little state, lotta.
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Cara Falco along with Mike Favetta. And new breast cancer screening recommendations have been announced. And this was a big deal earlier this week, saying that women should start being screened at age 40, which is 10 years earlier than previously advised. Here to talk about it is attending physician at Hackensack University Medical Center, Karen Malone, MD and MPH. Good morning, doctor. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Really excited to have you here today.
Doctor, what do these changing guidelines mean for women and women's health?
Well, these changes are really important. It's going to allow women to hopefully come get screened earlier. We're coming to more of a consensus, which is really important. There used to be multiple different guidelines from multiple different organizations. Some said to start at age 40, some would say to start at age 45, others at age 50. That creates a lot of confusion, particularly for women that may have anxiety already and a little bit of distrust for the medical system. So now bringing it together is really important. I think there will be more women now who will get screening mammographies at age 40. This will lead to more lives saved. Studies are indicating that women in their 40s are getting breast cancer at a higher rate. So I think it's very important for this population to be screened at that time.
Interesting stuff. And I love that you talked about, doctors and these groups coming together on this information, because it does get confusing at times when it doesn't match up. Why is getting a regular screening important?
So screening mammography, the whole purpose is to detect breast cancer as early as possible. When we find it early, it's not just treatable, it's curable. So again, that comes with saving lives. Also, the earlier it's found, the better the treatment, really. It's less morbidity for the patient with certain treatments. If you find it early, you don't need chemotherapy. The treatments that patients think about when you lose your hair and feeling sick, if you find it earlier, you do not need that type of treatment, which is also much more expensive. So finding it early is really the key.
And you mentioned how the patients and doctors are kind of reacting to these new guidelines. Are they glad that there's sort of a consensus now and a guideline from a source that is reputable that everyone can agree on?
We're all thrilled. We think they're making, the right decision. This is the right recommendation for the most part. We would love to see them recommend it every year. So right now, they changed the recommendation to age 40 for screening mammography, but biennial, meaning every other year. We would all love to see them come together and just say screening mammography age 40 every year. I think that would be when they get it right. But we're still happy. We'll take it.
We'll take what we can get, right? Doctor, and in terms of access, because we know insurance can sometimes be a challenge with things like this, because this is now the recommendation, do you think this is going to open more access for more women to get these screenings?
I mean, they'll be more accessible because more doctors are going to be recommending it at age 40, but actually insurance has never been a hindrance. Congress already passed legislation years ago that insurance companies must cover screening mammography age 40 and on without co-pays and deductibles. So insurance, this doesn't really change that. Insurance companies have been covering screening mammography at age 40 and on.
That's really good to hear. Now, tell us one more thing. What about if someone had a risk factor in their family and you think that the doctor was prescribing a screening to happen before the age of 40? Is that something that could be a hindrance with insurance?
Well, so you're touching something that's really important. We're so happy that they're recommending screening mammography at age 40 for average risk patient, but something touched on about risk assessment. I think the next step for guidelines needs to be every patient should have a risk assessment by age 25. And if you're high risk, which means you have a 20% or greater lifetime risk of breast cancer, you need supplemental screening. Mammography is still the gold standard, but there needs to be another layer of protection. So for instance, a screening breast MRI, that's a little more sensitive. It can find cancers at the earliest time. Contrast enhanced mammography is also another tool that we're using. These high-risk patients do need this. I think some high-risk patients are still being left out and will have issues with insurance coverage. But again, if the task force takes it the next step and starts discussing guidelines for high-risk patients, that would be better for these patients. There would be more insurance coverage. So individualized care, essentially, with a risk assessment, I think is the next step.
All right, so it's a progress, work in progress. Dr. Malone, where can our viewers learn more information?
I'm part of, Hackensack Meridian Health. Hackensack Radiology Group is also an affiliate. If you go online, you search those. Um, those would be a great place to start. The internet is wonderful. Just look them up. I know at Hackensack, we have been recommending screening mammography at age 40 for many years. We follow the American College of Radiology. We also have a lot of appointments at off hours, at night, on weekends, because I know there could be accessibility issues with a lot of patients now wanting to get their screening mammography at age 40. We do offer that, and we would love to have patients come and age 40 to start mammography. Please come to Hackensack. We'd love to have you.
Doctor, thank you so much for your time this morning and your insights and information. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, interesting stuff. And I liked what she was saying. As I was actually designated a high-risk person, so I had to go for my first one at like 36. And so it was, I was very lucky that, again, like she said, it was able to be covered and stuff like that. I have access to health insurance. But yeah, it's that drop, that decade drop in when they start screening, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, and there are programs out there, so it's great that she's excited about these new guidelines and that there's more accessibility for women. That's always a good thing.
Always a good thing, absolutely. All right, so something a little more fun. New research conducted by the Interventional Pain Management and Ortho Spine Center analyzed monthly Google searches over the past year in each state to find out what activity is the favorite to de-stress.
With around 97,000 monthly searches on average, New Jersey's favorite de-stressing activity is gaming. Kayaking and going to the gym got second and third.
The kayaking one is the one that kind of, I'm like, kayaking is like a unique thing, I feel like.
Very, very unique.
Meanwhile, the study also shows that the least popular activity is motorcycle restoration. That would be frustrating for me, for sure.
Well, on this mental health note, I think it's great that, yes, there are many ways in which to kayak in New Jersey. We have our lakes, we have our bays, we have the ocean. So it's nice that getting out and maybe not sitting in front of a gaming console.
I was going to say, see, I'm not a gamer, and neither are you, I don't think, right?
Once a year. Not often.
I think our producer Caitlin's raising her hand in the control room. Yeah, it's her. That's her job. I know a lot of adults that are gamers. That is what they do to unwind. I'm like, okay, that's if that's your jam, that's your jam.
Ways to get around stress. Always good to do that. Hey, there's also other ways to get around stress and get outside, like the Meadowlands State Fair. Cara, it's coming back this summer. We will see what they have to offer this year coming up next.
And I had a chance to visit the Wine and Food Festival this weekend. We'll have more on that after this. back to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Cara Falco along with Mike Favetta. And the Meadowlands State Fair 2024 tickets are officially on sale. It'll be taking place June 20th through July 7th. And this year's program is packed with electrifying stunts, acrobatic acts, amusement rides, magicians, musicians, racing pigs, and fair food. And this year, the fair announces their Michael Jackson tribute band show.
Wow, I can't wait to see those racing pigs. And don't forget to try all the food the fair has to offer this year with classics like fried Oreos, funnel cake, and bacon-wrapped everything. The fair is also offering more exotic foods like alligator meat mac and cheese and shark kebabs. Wow.
Yeah, oh boy. You know what? Fair food in my mind is like it's street food, right? It's like it's fried, it's on a stick, it's in a little cardboard bag, and I love it. I love not just the state fair, but all of the smaller, town carnivals, the county fairs, all of those things are so much fun. They have so many great memories from childhood. That was like the place to be, in middle school. It was like the town carnival. It was like, oh my God, we have to go.
I like that this is the food segment because now we're talking about the street food, and in a minute we'll talk about more eclectic food. But as far as the fair food, do you have a favorite, Cara, of your favorite fair festival food? Zeppoli. Zeppoli's a good one. I feel like they have to be made correctly, though, because I've had a lot of Zeppoli that were not that great.
Yes.
It's just covered in sugar and didn't have a lot of flavor. I think the potato that's on a spiral on a stick. Oh,
on the stick.
Whatever that is, and it's like fried and it's like a potato chip, but it's also like a French fry and it's on a stick. It's great, and you can get any flavor with the color, with the powder on top, and that's one of my favorites.
That is another good one. That's a good one. We're gonna have to take a field trip now to the state fair.
I think we will.
Hey, listen, I took a little trip this past weekend. The New Jersey Wine and Food Festival took place at Crystal Springs Resort, and I had a chance to check out the grand tasting on Saturday night, where dozens of chefs, winemakers, and more dished up thousands of small bites for hungry participants. The New Jersey Wine and Food Festival took place for the first time in 5 years this past weekend at Crystal Springs Resort in Hamburg, showcasing chefs, vintners, and more from across the Garden State and the world. Hundreds turned out to taste what New Jersey has to offer.
It's beautiful. Everyone's so nice, and all the food and the wine is all excellent. So it's a great experience.
For this amazing event, I've been coming almost every year they have it. This is the first time they're having it again since the pandemic, so couldn't miss it.
Chefs from all parts of the state brought the flavors of New Jersey straight to Sussex County.
We have duck and donuts, so it's a yeast-raised donut with foie gras mousse.
Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing.
We're doing a chilled asparagus soup with a local crab salad, pickled shallots, and cucumber.
And all that food was washed down with an abundance of local wines and spirits.
I mean, we've been partnered with Crystal Springs for probably over 11 years now. We've participated in every one of these, and it's so great that, a restaurant of their caliber supports locals and the little guys.
Founder Robbie Yunez says he's proud to have created an event that lets the world know the best eats are right here in the Garden State.
There's nothing like New Jersey. Ask a foreigner. I love New Jersey. New Jersey is our home. New Jersey is a beautiful state. It's balanced. And the chef and the culinary, and you're seeing the last 15 years, is doing amazing. So no, we love New Jersey, and we have an amazing foraging ingredients around us. We go in our backyard, we bring ramp, morale, shiitake, hen on the wood. It's an amazing. So no, I love New Jersey. It's a true Garden State.
It was such a great event. We had so many delicious bites, and truly just. I love that there's this whole event that just showcases everything culinary that New Jersey has to offer.
That looked magical. What was your favorite thing that you had?
I had a short rib tostada that I thought was the best bite of the night for sure. But I mean, there was just the pasta dishes so unique. Oh, there was a Taylor ham, Taylor ham, egg and cheese ravioli.
Wow, that
really
sounds delicious.
unique.
I saw a clip of the clothesline bacon, and I went, oh, what a great invention. We need more clothesline bacon.
Clothesline bacon. It's so good. Yeah, Chef David Burke was there, who's been on the show a couple times. I mean, and it's all these chefs that we know that have really, become superstars, at least in the state. And then others also that are, just they've been on, different Bravo and Top Chef and Chopped and things like that. So it's just great. But like they were saying, you can't, you can literally, and Crystal Springs does a great job with this, where they've really made an effort to be like, okay, we're in farmland and wild lands around here, and they have their own foraging program where, like he was saying, they go out and they get the ramps in the spring and the morels and the shiitake mushrooms and the hen of the woods and all these things that literally grow in people's backyards here in New Jersey. And it's like nobody even realizes the access to food that we have here.
Sure.
Yeah, really, really, really great event. A lot of fun. All right, guys. Speaking of famous folks, you know her from the hit show Abbott Elementary and The Parent Trap. Stay tuned for an exclusive interview with Lisa Ann Walter that's coming up next.
Summers in New Jersey were made to wow you. From sun and wows to fun and wows and every wow in between. So come see what your wow's gonna be. New Jersey. It's one wow after another, after another, after another. You get it. Find your wow at visitnj.org. New Jersey. Little state, lot of wow.
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Cara Falco along with Mike Favetta. And for all you comedy fans out there, Lisa Ann Walter, star of the hit show Abbott Elementary, is coming to the Stress Factory in New Brunswick this weekend. Our Lisa Marie Falbo spoke with her. Take a look.
Do you know when they first introduced the bill for the ERA? This is not even in the act. This is like we're just talking. Do you know when they introduced it? 1923. That's 100 years ago for me. Those of you not comfortable with math. 100 years ago, they said, let's have this thing where women are equal under the Constitution. And the country went, that's crazy talk! And in the same year, they introduced Mickey Mouse frozen food and the cheeseburger, all of which are screamingly popular. But equal rights for women? Nah! Tell you what, if we put equal rights on a burger, we by now.
Thanks, guys. Lisa Ann, thank you so much for coming on the New Jersey Morning Show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so thrilled to come back home to Jersey.
I didn't realize that you had such strong Jersey roots. Before we get into your shows, just tell our audience about your Jersey upbringing here.
Lisa Marie and I were talking before we started rolling. And for the purposes of this interview, she's going to be Lisa Marie and I'm Lisa Ann. Because we only, as Italian girls from the Northeast, there's like 8 names we can choose from. And so we're the both sides of the Lisa Ann, Lisa Marie spectrum. I lived in Jersey for 11 years. My parents were both from New York, and my dad for work had to move down to DC. But when I finished college, I moved to Jersey City, then Summit, then West Caldwell for about 1.5 years. And then I got pregnant with my second child and we bought a house in Summit. And I used to work all the clubs all over Jersey. It was my home base. Rascals at the Shore. Like I was all over the place. I was a road warrior comic and Jersey was my roots. I used to go to that. I used to take my son when I was pregnant with my daughter in West Caldwell to that deli that they used in The Sopranos. I remember when it came up on The Sopranos, I was like, hey, that's where I used to get the sandwiches.
I love that. Love that.
Yeah, I mean, Jersey's beautiful. I miss it a lot.
And you had such close proximity to New York, too, so you really could then go into the city across the river and cut your chops there.
That's exactly right. I would go and work the showcase rooms in New York, like Stand Up New York and the comic strip and Caroline's when it was still a club. People remember both the one down at the Seaport and then when it moved to Midtown and all of the clubs I used to work, the Cellar downtown, you would just go, you know, it was, thank God I had a husband at the time who was a really great father and would watch the kids when I would go into the city. Like I would be with them all day and then I would drive into the city and my son was hilarious. One day we were driving in, couldn't have been more than 2 years old. And he's like, the city. And I was like, yeah, we're going into the city. How do you know we're going to the city? And he's like, the writing. And there was graffiti all over the walls. He was like, that's how we knew we were going into Manhattan. But then my kid would go home with my husband, and I would like stay at the club still real late, growing the act. And then I got offers to go star in TV shows. So then I went to LA. It's different.
It's so different. I can't imagine being a Jersey girl in LA. I know the food is definitely not the same, but also the vibe.
No, it is not. It is not the same, except at my house. On Sunday night, there's red sauce cooking every week.
I love it.
I actually bring it to work. I bring it into Abbott Elementary. Quinta Brunson, who is our fearless leader and the star of the show, loves my meatballs. So quite regularly, I'll bring a big pot of meatballs in, or baked ziti for the writing staff. I went on Jimmy Kimmel about a month ago or something like that, and I brought him brajol because he was complaining you can't get basket cheese in all of LA. If people who don't know what that is, basket cheese is what you use when you're making like Easter pie. You know what it is, Lisa.
Of course
Marie.
I know. Oh yeah, definitely.
My Eugene, my friend.
But
so I had to learn how to make basket cheese. I'm over here like my Aunt Yola with the apron tied right under my boobs, making basket cheese at home. Like I'm supposed to be a TV star. What the hell is happening here?
Yeah, but that's what makes you, I think, so successful, because you are so down to earth. I don't know too many Hollywood stars bringing brajol to a late night talk show set. I want to congratulate you because you keep mentioning Abbott Elementary. You just wrapped production on season 3. You got picked up, right, for season 4?
Oh yeah, we got picked up right after the first episode aired this past season. They knew that we were one of the ones that people keep coming to, and like more and more people. I can't tell you the number of people that I meet at airports and everywhere. This red hair is like a beacon. And people just will come up and say, it's the only show I watch with my kids. I had one mom tell me that she was not having a great relationship with her daughter when she was in high school. And, that happens, especially with girls sometimes. And she went away to college, and they started bonding over Abbott and watching it together over the phone. And I was like, that's why Quinta made this show, really, so that families had something and it's not like a kiddie show. Like, it's not cloying. Grown-ups can watch it and honestly laugh. Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't brag about it. I would just tell my people I've got a steady job. That's all you need to know.
Well, where can we get tickets to the shows this weekend?
Well, if you go to my Instagram page, which is just my name, Lisa Ann Walter, Lisa Ann, no E, Walter, no S. There's a link. There's a link tree. You can go right to the Stress Factory or go to the Stress Factory website. And I think we're sold out on a couple of the shows. Maybe one of the shows Friday and one Saturday, but I believe there are tickets left for the other 3 shows. So get over there and get them.
Lisa Ann, this was so much fun. I just enjoy talking to, a rock star Italian, a rock star mom, and obviously entertainer. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Now I got to go back and finish the ricotta cake I started making this morning.
Well, next time you're in Jersey, let me know so I can try a piece.
I will, but when I come to Jersey, I'll call it ricotta.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, Lisa Ann.
So much fun. She's a rip.
She is.
Are you an Abbott Elementary fan? I haven't actually seen the show. I hate to even admit it.
Honestly, she seems like a really funny comedian. I haven't seen her work, but just given the clips with the relation and the relatability, that's usually the best comedian can really make you relate to the audience. So
absolutely.
I think she's a riot.
For sure. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today on the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Cara Falco.
And I'm Mike Favetta. More New Jersey Morning Show coming up after this.